Right, so there's a few things I want to talk about before we get into the actual gameplay of me going through the month of spring. Number one, if you've clicked on this video, then that means you've read the title of this video. And if you've read the title of this video, then that means you're probably thinking to yourself, what does that mean? Allow me to explain. Being a veteran Stardew Valley athlete involves multiple things: speed and aggression, efficiency and proficiency, knowing when to use mods to your advantage, and knowing what kind of goals to set. It also means owning a villa on a private island, but I will explain that one more in a few minutes. As a veteran Stardew Valley athlete, I will be doing all of these things and more in this video. Number 2. I'm using several mods in this video. I'll have them all linked in the description, but I would like to talk about a few in particular first. The tractor mod allows us to use a tractor to plant seeds, water and harvest crops, chop down trees, and basically use our tools in a much more convenient and faster manner. The shop overhaul mods adds various items to the shops in the game. For example, Pierre now sells ancient seeds, sprinklers and scarecrows. Clint now sells all of the artifacts in the game, different types of geodes and the various bars. Robin now sells hardwood, fibre, kegs, tappers, yada yada yada. Part of the community makes it easier to earn friendship points with the villagers. For example, let's say Abigail and Caroline are in the same room and we talk to Abigail. We will get the standard friendship points with Abigail for talking to her, but we will also get friendship points with Caroline because she saw the conversation between us and Abigail. I have a fishing mod installed that makes it so that we always cast our rod the maximum distance, we instantly get a hit, and the fishing minigame itself is skipped, which means we instantly catch the fish. Finally, we have the Downtown Zuzu City mod. I know nothing about this mod, this is my first time playing the game with it installed. Number 3. I originally wanted this video to be an entire playthrough of year 1, but I realised around the middle of summer that I bit off way more than I could chew. I could feel myself getting a bit burned out, so I decided to split it into 4 parts. This video will be the month of spring, the second video will be summer, the third video will be fall, and the final video will be winter. So, with all of that out of the way, let's get into the month of spring. Our journey begins, as always, with the creation of our farmer, or rather, our veteran Stardew Valley athlete. Matthew Ennis, or M. Ennis for short, isn't coming to Pelican Town to take part, he is coming to Pelican Town to take over. The name M. Ennis is a play on words. You see, it sounds like menace, because one of the qualities of being a veteran Stardew Valley athlete is being a certified menace. On the morning of day 1, we begin like pretty much everybody else and collect our 15 parsnips. While we explore our little private island, I would like to take this time to talk about the goal that I set for this video. The mods that I'm using make it easier to earn gold, earn star drops, and basically progress through the game, so I felt like it was only fair that I set a relatively difficult goal for this series. And that goal is to achieve 100% perfection. This means we have to do all of the following. Ship 1 of every crop and forage item. Build earth obelisk, water obelisk, desert obelisk and island obelisk on the farm. Build the gold clock on the farm, complete all monster eradication goals for the Adventurers Guild, reach maximum hearts with every villager, reach level 10 in every skill, find all star drops, cook every recipe, craft all items, catch every fish, and find all of the golden walnuts on Ginger Island. Unfortunately, we can't complete the friendship one because Kent only joins the town in year 2, so I guess our goal is actually to achieve 99% perfection. Anyway, back to the gameplay. I introduce myself to Haley, then head to Robin's where I buy 26 wood in order to make a chest because I was too lazy to chop down trees on my farm. Next I head to Pierre's where I spend the remainder of my gold on parsnip seeds. At this point I figured that in order to reach Zuzu City, we have to walk there using the road the bus is found on. This guess not only turns out to be correct, but also leads to quite an eventful first day of spring as I get ambushed by monsters, but also manage to find a peach and a turnip. I continue to make my way along the road until I reach a sign that says that Zuzu City is a short distance north of us. I, of course, am a bit of a scallywag, so I decide to turn left instead. Because of this choice, I end up finding an abandoned desert town that looks a bit like something out of Red Dead Redemption. The first game, I mean. I haven't played the second one because you can't put a hat on your horse's head, and that's basically the bare minimum for me when it comes to games made after 2017. I take a quick look around the town, then keep going along the road where something quite peculiar happens. I end up in the desert. This is big. We no longer have to complete the community center vault room in order to be able to go to the desert. It's also kind of confusing because I don't know if this was a feature included in the Zuzu City mod or if one of the requirements for that mod added this feature, but we'll take what we get. Regardless, I do some foraging and collect a couple of coconuts and cactus fruits. I then head back to Pelican Town where I give a cactus fruit to Linus. A veteran Stardew Valley athlete respects a veteran wilderness vagabond. Real recognizes real, as they say. When I return to my farm... Hello there. Sorry for interrupting your video, but while I was editing the audio for this video, I couldn't help but notice that I said farm in that previous sentence. That is not correct at all. As I established, it is not a farm, it is an island with a villa. That is all. I'll let you get back to your video. Lewis talks to us about holding a market every Friday. We can sell our items at this market for some extra gold. To end the day, I get assaulted by some bats that appeared out of nowhere on my farm. I'm thinking that the villa farm type has an option where you can enable or disable that, so I'm going to fix that before we start day 2. Right, so bit of bad news. It turns out that modded farm types have the monsters spawn on your farm at night option selected by default. The only way to fix this little kerfuffle of ours is to start the farm all over again. I'll do that, play through day 1 again, and then come back with day 2. This hurts. Actually, to be honest, that was a blessing in disguise. Because I knew that we had access to the desert, I saved some of my gold and bought some rhubarb seeds in Sandy's shop. I also had enough time and energy to clear out more space on my farm than I did on the original first day. I visit Willy and receive the fishing rod. This is going to be our moneymaker for the next couple of days. Like I said at the start, the mod we have installed makes the whole process of fishing so much quicker, which means we get more gold and we'll be doing pretty nicely for ourselves, which is, you know, nice. After 2 rounds of filling my inventory with fish and selling them, we have over 3,000 gold. I head to Piers and immediately use the part of the community mod to my advantage as there's like 6 villagers in the shop. I then purchased a backpack upgrade before going to Linus and giving him a cactus fruit. I spend the rest of the day fishing at the mountain lake before returning home. I barely have enough time to put the fish that I caught into my shipping bin before I pass out. But through sheer willpower alone, I managed to do so. Thanks to all of the very quick and convenient fishing we did, we managed to reach not level 1, not level 2, not level 3 or 4 or 5, not level 6, not level 8 or 9, but level 7 in fishing. We also make almost 6,000 gold thanks to our fishing frenzy. On day 3 we start with a bit of fishing at the beach where I managed to get a diamond and a treasure chest in a treasure chest. It makes sense, just don't think about it. Our next stop is the secret woods where we managed to catch a wood skip. At this point I'm more so focusing on getting all of the fish we need for the community center, rather than making as much gold as we can by completely emptying the waters of any and all fish. Next on the agenda is Clint's, where we buy a rusty cog and a rusty spur for the museum as well as 5 copper bars. I leave Clint's, then realise I forgot to actually use those copper bars to upgrade my pickaxe, so I go back inside and do just that. Walter is excited to see us because he knows we're going to give him a hand in restoring the museum to its former glory. And by give him a hand, I mean that we're going to do all of the work ourselves. The rest of the day is spent fishing at the ocean, then at the river in the town, followed by some fishing at the mountain lake. But I'm not done. We return to the river in order to catch even more fish. Also, you want to see how effective the part of the community mod is? Go to the saloon and talk to all the villagers there. That's an easy 100 plus friendship points with everyone there. To end the day, I make quite the discovery. The road to the desert was not designed to be travelled at night. There's something strange on your road. Who you gonna call? Mr. M. Ennis when he gets a proper weapon, of course. Day 4 begins with a visit to Big Willy, where we sell him some delightful fish that we caught. We then sprint at 1 mile an hour to Piers, where we purchase 10 of each of the spring crops. One of our goals is to ship 1 of each type of crop and forage item, so it's better to get on top of that as soon as we can. We pay a visit to Robin, or to give her her full name, Robin My Money. I'm sorry. We purchase some stone and ask her to build a well on our farm. I might get her to build 2 more wells at some point. Well. I'm sorry again. I plant and water all of the seeds I purchased, which takes a bit of time, but listen, you cannot succeed without struggle. I then throw my treasure chest into my shipping bin to earn some bonus tasty gold. Very quickly establishing myself as Mr. Worldwide, I make my way to the You know what, I've recorded this sentence about 10 times, I'm not starting it again. I make my way to the desert to catch the sandfish and the scorpion carp. Unfortunately, I do not manage to catch the scorpion carp, but at the same time we do have plenty of time left to be able to catch it. To end the day, I do some fishing on my farm. I'm sorry, did I say farm? I meant to say my own private island. You know, because I'm rich. You know what every private island needs though? A dog. And on day 5 we were given the chance to adopt one. I name it Battle Pass in honour of the first thing I bought when I got paid 2 months ago. Even more good news is that our turnips are ready for harvest. We are the turnip tussler. That name stems from the fact that I have aggressively thrown turnips at the last 17 people I've gotten into a fight with. As I watched the community centre cutscene, I realised that we are faced with a bit of a predicament. If we do go for the community centre route, we'll probably have a lower chance of achieving 99% perfection. I need to run some numbers, do some analysis, and I'll get back to you on this topic. The market is set up in town, so I decide to buy 2 iron bars at a mere 240 gold each. That is quite the bargain. I head to Clint's to collect my copper pickaxe, purchase 5 copper bars, and then upgrade my watering can. The travelling merchant is in town, so I buy a rare seed from her. The next course of action is an integral part of our adventure. The mines. I make it to level 5 when something quite bizarre happens. I get lazy and decide to leave. But fear not, because I remained productive despite my little bout of laziness. I spend the rest of the day fishing at the mountain lake. I begin day 6 by donating some items to the museum. I spend a short while doing some fishing at the river before I head into Clint's. I wanted to buy some copper bars to prepare for my next upgrade, but it turns out Clint is incapable of multitasking. Yeah, we can't buy anything from him while he's working on our watering can. I got cauliflower and melon seeds as rewards from the museum, so I return to my farm and plant the cauliflower seeds with the quickness. At this point I have made the executive decision to go for the Georgia route instead of the community centre route, so I put all of my fish into my shipping bin. I head to sleep, and not only do I reach level 10 in fishing, but I also earn over 16,000 gold from my fish. On day 7, Demetrius pays a visit to our farm and offers to renovate our cave. I decide to opt for the fruit bats for no reason other than I like seeing all of the pretty colours in my cave. Today is also the day when we finally visit Zuzu City. I make my way there, and the first thing I do is buy a weapon called the Cuddle. I'm calling it the Cuddle because it's going to put my enemies to sleep. I also buy 20 Georgia sodas in a shop next to the stall where I bought my weapon. As I make my way through Zuzu City, 2 thoughts run through my mind. Number 1. I am suffering. This place is way too big. I do not have time to be lollygagging in this fashion. My time is valuable. Okay, no it isn't, but at the same time there are a lot of things still left to do during the month of spring. Number 2, I cannot find any of the new NPCs. I'm going to leave and come back at some point in the future when I have coffee or something else that makes me move a lot quicker. After my Zuzu City catastrophe, I decide to cheer myself up by purchasing 5 rare seeds from the travelling merchant. Next, I make my way to the mines and make it to level 8, but once again I simply cannot be bothered staying there. I leave and head home to go to sleep. This is quite odd, as I'm usually a beacon of commitment, of diligence, of the pure, unadulterated drive to succeed. Something clearly is not on the level here. I don't know what it is, but something is wrong. On day 8, just when you think I was done fishing, I do something completely unexpected. I do some more fishing. I head to Willie's to sell the fish that I've caught, then head to the museum to donate a couple of items. I go to Clint's shop, but unfortunately I am mere seconds too late. I head back to my island and throw a ton of items into my shipping bin to work towards the ship one of every crop and forage item goal. I head to sleep and am met with a scrumptious sight. We made almost 6,000 gold from that. Day 9 begins with a bit of tomfoolery. I head to Robin's, but it is closed. Yeah, alright, that's fair enough, then I'll just take my gold and go somewhere else if you don't want it. And by go somewhere else, I mean go to bed. Robin's antics completely drained me of all of my energy. Day 10 begins with a bit of fishing to waste some time before Robin's opens. I enter Robin's with the intention of buying the tractor from my farm. I'm not sure what past me did when I was playing around with the tractor mod settings a few weeks ago, but for some reason I don't actually need any iron and iridium bars and battery packs to build it. Let's just call that a happy accident and move on. I head to Clint's and collect my copper watering can. With that out of the way, I head back to my island where I put some items in my shipping bin, then sleep for 18 hours. Ironically, that's what I did last night in real life as well. I have terrible time management skills. On day 11, I water my crops, and then I decide to break my record for the longest amount of time spent sleeping. I head to bed around 9 AM, meaning we slept for 21 hours straight. That right there is the definition of dedication. To sleeping. which isn't exactly a good thing, but sure, look it. On the 12th day, our tractor has been built, so I use it to completely annihilate some of the landscape on my farm, and when I say some, I mean quite a bit. We can also use the tractor to water our crops in record time, so that's very, very nice like. I want to get serious for a moment. Seriously awesome. No, but this really is quite serious. You can use the tractor to get through the mines. It will break rocks and ores and collect any gems on the ground. It will also defeat monsters if you're holding a weapon. Normally I would be opposed to such a devious method of going through the mines, but keep in mind that our farmer's name is M. Ennis, or Menace. So that is exactly what I will be doing. As a consolation prize, here's a little music video of me doing that today. It's day 13, which means two things. Number 1, some of my crops are ready for harvest. That is fantastic news. Number 2, the Egg Festival takes place today. That is absolutely marvellous news. I head to the town centre and use this as a chance to talk to the couple of villagers I missed thus far. Then it is time for the egg hunt. Now, in the video where I spun a wheel to decide how I would play the game, I let Abigail win the egg hunt. Or rather, the farmer W. Heel allowed Abigail to win the egg hunt. But M. Ennis is built differently. Mr. Ennis is on an entirely different astronomical plane of existence. He does not participate in such rapscallion-like behaviour. M. Ennis cares only about winning the egg hunt, and that is exactly what happened. I collect the eggs with complete and utter efficiency, the likes of which has never been seen before and will never be seen again. And to the surprise of absolutely nobody, we win the egg hunt. What a truly delightful event. To end the day, I plant and water all 150 something of the strawberry seeds I bought at the event. After harvesting all of my beautiful blue jazz flowers on day 14, I used the tractor to water all of my crops. This tractor truly is a game changer. I tossed my blue jazz flowers into my shipping bin, then straight to the mines where we reached level 80 thanks to our tasty tractor before passing out. Day 15 is spent in the mines where we make it to level 120, the final level of the mines, and obtain the Skull Cavern key. At this point I would like to pledge my allegiance to the tractor. I don't know what I would do without it. I would marry that tractor if I could. I would cuddle with it, read it a bedtime story, go frolicking in some fields with it. On day 16, some of our flower of the collie is ready for harvest. I then fall further in love with my tractor as I use it to once again water all of my crops. I head to the desert where I spend the rest of the day ploughing my way through the Skull Cavern. Our green beans and rhubarb are ready for harvest on day 17. While this is nice because we need to ship these items, what I'm really waiting for is my strawberries. I head to the museum where I donate several items, including the 4 dwarf scrolls. We received the Dwarvish translation guide as a result, which means we now have the ability to talk to the dwarf. This isn't just big, it is pretty big. I give an emerald to Penny because I am a wonderful person. I then realised that I've been fairly relaxed when it comes to giving gifts to villagers. Too relaxed, in fact, because I've only given like a couple. But that changes now. We need max hearts with all of these ambiguous critters, so I'll be giving gifts to them and talking to them as often as I can. I also wanted to build up my good karma before this next part. I go to the Georgia shop and buy the membership. I apologise for this, but it had to be done. Okay, maybe it didn't have to be done, but I have a very good reason for doing this. And that reason is... I had enough spring forage to make 60 spring seeds, so I plant and water all of these seeds before going to bed. I was listening to the Lazy Song by Bruno Mars at this point, which led to me watering my crops and then going straight back to sleep on day 18. On day 19, I make up for yesterday's lazy day by wiping out the local tree population in the forest. I then head to Piers where Abigail is struggling to beat the first level of a game called The Prairie King. She asked me to help her, and because I am a shining star, I happily oblige. I wipe out the enemies in the game with complete and utter unparalleled speed and aggression. I contacted the Guinness Book of World Records to notify them of a possible new record, but they just laughed and hung up on me. After wiping away my tears, I buy over 200 spring seeds from Pierre. Why did I do this, you may ask? Well, it's because I hit 2 hearts with Caroline. By watching her 2 heart event, she will send me the recipe for tea saplings in the mail tomorrow morning. And that, gentlemen and ladies, is when we truly begin to flourish. I'm pretty sure I can be considered a detriment to the environment at this point, as I chop down even more trees on my farm. Using all of the space now at my disposal, I plant and water all of my spring seeds. On day 21, I harvest my strawberries, throw some into my shipping bin, and then sell the rest to Pierre. Following that, I purchase 448 potato seeds from Pierre, and then return to my farm, clear a bit of space on it, and plant and water all of these potato seeds. Days 22 through 26 are spent watering my seeds and talking to villagers and giving them gifts while I wait for all my seeds to grow. I also buy the Tub of Flowers recipe and a rare crow at the flower dance. While the footage of these things plays, I want to say a few things. I understand that this isn't exactly the most exciting few days, and I apologize for that, but at the same time this is pretty much the most effective way I could think of to play through these days. The month of spring was basically a preparation month. I wanted to level up my skills as much as possible, reach the bottom of the Pelican Town mines, get a good start on friendship points, and earn enough gold to buy the things I need to make the remaining 3 months easier for us. But you can rest assured that there won't be many more instances like this in this series. In fact, I've already played through the first half of summer, and I did so much that I almost ended up burning myself out. That's actually the reason why I ended up splitting this into 4 parts, but I am still having fun with this playthrough. It is a lot more challenging than I thought it would be, but I like that. We all need a challenge every once in a while. As for whether or not I'll actually be able to achieve 99% perfection by the end of the year, I truly do not know at this point. But that does add a bit of suspense, so I see it as a good thing. Anyway, that's enough of my rambling, let's get back to the gameplay. On day 27, all of my crops and forage items are ready for harvest. I collect every single one of them. I then decide to throw over 300 potatoes into my shipping bin so that we can get the monoculture achievement. This requires us to ship 300 of one crop. I cut down even more trees to get more wood. We already have a lot of wood and fibre, but I want as much as I can get my hands on for the production of our tea saplings. In total, I'm able to make 291 tea saplings. In a few short minutes, we will be so rich that we literally won't know what to do with our money. As I make my way to Piers, I accept a quest to give Hayley some green algae. I am in a merry mood, so when I realize I have a green algae in my inventory and spot Hayley, I decide to give it to her straight away. Pierre begins to shake violently as I enter his shop. He knows that I am about to bankrupt him. Like the true scoundrel that I am, I decide to make him sweat even more by delaying the inevitable and talking to him, Abigail and Caroline first. They call me the Pierre Punisher. I then sell all of my crops and tea saplings to Pierre and end up with a delicious 195,000 gold. I purchase the second and final backpack upgrade from Pierre, then buy 2 of each fruit tree sapling and 300 ancient seeds. I then go to Clint's where I buy 5 copper bars and ask him to upgrade my axe. Next it's time to get started on the Georgia adventure by buying the greenhouse. It's not actually an adventure, I'm just saying that to make myself feel better about the fact that I sold out and went with the Georgia route. Our next stop is Robin's. Robin shakes with anticipation as I enter the shop, knowing that she is about to receive a ton of gold. I decide to make her wait by talking to her and Maru first. I then buy the wood and stone I need in order to be able to build a coop on my island. Next up is the dwarf. I like the dwarf too much to waste his time, so I immediately buy some artifacts from him that I need for the museum. I also end up buying 2 prismatic shards from the dwarf. A big investment, but one that will hopefully pay off in the future. I return to my island and plant and water all 300 of my ancient seeds. Walter knows that I am about to donate a prismatic shard to the museum, so I make him wait by talking to Vincent, Jazz and Penny. You gotta make the villagers sweat sometimes. Unfortunately, my tomfoolery leads to my demise as I ended up being too late to enter the museum. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. Back on my island, I make 84 more tea saplings and throw them into my shipping bin. When I head to bed, I get a cutscene showing Big Man Morris repairing our greenhouse. I also forgot that I put over 300 potatoes into my shipping bin this morning, so I was quite surprised when I earned 71,000 gold at the end of the day. It is the final day of spring, and I begin by planting my 6 rare seeds in my greenhouse. Next, it's time to plant my saplings. Because I am a Stardew Valley athlete, I know exactly how to plant these saplings in my greenhouse. I start planting my saplings, then immediately forget how they were laid out in the picture, so I decide to wing it and hope for the best. Next, it's off to the museum where I donate some items, including the prismatic shard. I am too good of a person. I'm getting tired of walking to the desert, so I pay a visit to Master Morris, where I buy the bus for 40,000 gold. That's a lot of gold, but I would say it's a worthwhile investment at this point. I give a pink cake to Haley, who asks if I have seen Alex. Right. I'll just cry myself to sleep tonight. No big deal. Thank you so much, Haley. You are a star. Honestly, using the tractor on the road to the desert is therapeutic. I could easily do this for hours if I wasn't in a constant state of panic and misery going through this challenge. Anyway, once I reach the desert, I exchange my remaining prismatic shard for the galaxy sword. I take a moment to reflect on the progress I've made so far and really appreciate the hard work I've put in. Okay, that's a lie. I didn't actually do that at all. Instead, I went home and was about to go to sleep when I remembered something interesting that happened earlier in this video when I travelled along the road to the desert at nighttime. I returned to the road and sure enough, quite a few ghosts appear once again, but I'm stronger this time. I have the galaxy sword, I have a tractor, but above all else, I have acquired the unique ability to spend minutes of my time doing things that realistically do not matter at all. And with that, spring has ended. As a thank you to those of you that have made it this far, I will play some of the summer clips I've recorded already in no particular order while I talk for the next minute or so. First of all, we hit 100 subscribers. I was not expecting that at all, to be honest. That's pretty cool, thank you for that. Secondly, like I said, I did originally intend to release this whole thing as one video, but I realised pretty early on that it would have ended up being like 2 hours long, and realistically at some point I would have gotten burned out. At least by dividing this up and kind of making a series out of it, I won't be rushing it, so I can spend more time really making sure my commentary is where I want it to be for each video. Third, all of the mods I use for this video are linked in the description, so if there's any you want to try it yourself, then feel free to give them a go. And finally, if you have any suggestions for mods that I could add to this, then feel free to mention them in a comment. With all of that out of the way, all that's left for me to do is to bid you all adieu. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.